Hello and welcome. I am King's Creed from MMOplay.com, and this is Albion Online. Now, this is a really cool game that kind of came out of nowhere for me. So here we are in just our character creation. It's a little bit plain, but that's not that big of a deal. Now, okay, I'll admit this game got me pretty excited because I do. This is just a recording that I did, so I've already played through this section. But I really, really like this game, and as you may already notice, it kind of has that RuneScape feel with the kind of, I don't know how you really describe it. It's not voxel, but it's kind of got the sharp edges and all that. And we're gonna get right into this world. So again, you get another like I'm just getting like hit with nostalgia here because I haven't actually played RuneScape in a long time, and that was pretty much my childhood. So I'm gonna be comparing it a lot to RuneScape, which it's not a a, a exact comparison, but I think it's a good jumping off point because a lot of people who have played MMOs have played RuneScape. It's kind of that free to play game that you played maybe 5 years ago, but you probably played it or you've seen it, and that's a good way to compare it to. And it right off the bat, right, it looks like it plays like it. The UI is admittedly sparse and not that great looking. Um, this is in closed beta, so that's why this is a first impressions video, not a review video. We got a code over here at MMO Play, so just as a heads up. Uh, so we're just checking this out. This is a pretty slow paced video. We're just gonna be checking out some of the basics, uh, like gathering wood and like what we're even doing here. You can zoom in a little bit. You can zoom out. I think, completely control it with the right mouse button, or is it left? I think it's the left mouse button. There should be an option to change that because every other game in existence is right mouse button. So immediately, right, there's no tutorial or anything, which isn't that big of a deal, considering it's a pretty simple startup. And you just chop down trees. It's like I also got a bit of a Minecraft vibe too. It's like the first thing you do is go and chop down a tree with your bare hands. So as you can see there, it's going to take some resources. I think the two main ones is logs from the trees and stone from the rocks. So you just mouse over it and click, and you'll. I started with this immediately. Almost always like. I desperately need a tutorial to get into a game, but then I can hit the ground running kind of point pretty quickly, but I always struggle with these intro parts, which is kind of embarrassing to see me fumble around with something that's so simple in retrospect. So you have your health bar, you have your mana bar. None of this, I don't think you actually do any combat besides fighting those little rabbits for quite a while. I played it for about 30 minutes before this. Before actually speaking right now. This is actually, I think, a good portion of that. I want to make sure to get in a first impressions video, though, because I do think this game is going to be pretty big. It's pulling from a lot of really great classics, and it has a very nice look to it, and I think it's going to be free to play. You get into the closed beta by signing up for a founder's pack for like $30, but otherwise there's definitely microtransactions like speed up your experience gain and the like. So it would surprise me if it didn't go free to play with those kind of microtransactions. I typically really dislike it, and I won't get into that too much here because I haven't seen the effects of it. But at a base level, I don't really care for it to gain extra experience and the like. But I much prefer it to be just cosmetics, because then you don't feel like you're wasting your time. Like, oh, okay, well, this guy can just we can do the same amount of work, but he'll be double the level because he spent more money, which is frustrating. But I hope that's not what it's like. But I'm definitely gonna be doing an update series on this game, at least one more, because I've already got the inkling that I do like this game. Like, I just physically stopped myself from continuing playing so I can get this video out as soon as possible. So right there on the right, after I crafted my sword and shield, I got a new ability, which is neat. The new ability doesn't actually do anything. Oh yeah, I stopped here for a while, so I'll just talk about some other stuff. I think I had to get the cat off my lap or something, and I'm not gonna bother with editing the video. It takes too long, and I need to get this out ASAP. So at the bottom there, you have your mini map, of course. Your frames per second and ping are always there, which is certainly strange. That's usually something you'd see, like, I don't know, in a first-person shooter or something like that, or an action game. Not necessarily in a open-world MMO. Right underneath that, the local time, I believe, and you have a big old mini map. Oh, you know what? People have been comparing this to EverQuest, which I thought was interesting. I actually never played EverQuest, but I've definitely heard. What was that other game? RPG MO. It was a pretty small game that released on Steam. It actually had a pretty colorful history, but I don't think it ever really hit mass appeal, which is kind of too bad. It was pretty interesting. It started off a lot like this, and RuneScape did, where you just kind of go hit some trees and just kind of gradually level up and become better. And you know, it's kind of like that. You come back to the starter area and you're all decked out in all this gear, and you're checking out all these noobs with all their non-armor and everything. And then, so right above that Destiny board graphic, whatever, is basically, I think it's like a questing, like, it's like a pseudo tutorial until they actually put out a real tutorial, which I assume they'll be doing, because again, this is closed beta. And right now it's starting me off with the skinning knife, which I believe allows you to get rabbit hide from rabbit after you murder them. I don't think you actually get any meat though. Okay, there we go. I'm back finally. I was thinking about editing that out, but whatever. It was only about a minute. So we're gonna keep going down this path. I actually kind of, this is the fun. Like, this is, like, it may seem boring, right? As you're just watching me and hearing my boring ass voice talk over this, but actually in game it's a lot of fun to just, like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what this game is like, but I'm exploring, and that's so much fun for me. Just like, just go somewhere and just do it. And it really helps that this game does look good. And don't be fooled, this is actually on low settings, on low graphical settings. And I actually think I mistakenly set it up so it's 1024 by 780 or whatever it is, the 4 by 3 pixel ratio. So if it looks a little bit weird, that's why. It actually looks a lot better if you optimize it. So here I am, and I think is what is like the main town, the main city. At least beginner town, like a village. Uh, there's a lot of people here, and you see, that guy has a mount, and you have all these like pack mules. And I'm assuming that allow you to stash stuff on it, because I think you got a limited inventory space, and you have a limited carrying capacity, like 1 kilogram, 2 kilogram, which is definitely different. You usually have one or one or the other, but I'm not 100% certain. So this is like a quest giver. He's like, yo man, I need you to craft me some stuff, and actually mess this up, and you'll see that later. And there's a whole bunch of NPCs around in the area who are going to be giving you quests like this, like craft this and craft that. And I'm pretty sure that was a much more difficult one, where it was like metal armor and the like. I think there's different quests from different quest givers, but they share. I have no idea what this is, by the way, so I'm just gonna skip over this. I assume it's some kind of talent tree of some sort. Definitely looking forward to looking into that. So like the crafting NPC shares the same quest with all the crafting NPCs, at least in this area. So like, you'll have Royal Order 1 and 2. The next crafting NPC guy along the line will also have the same ones. So I think you can turn it in any one of them, I suppose. It's a little bit confusing, because you'd think you'd go back to like a message board, or not a message board, but, you know, like a forum board thing that's centered in town, or the same quest giver that you went to originally, but you can just kind of go to any one of them, I think. And then you also have some combat ones, but I think this is a largely non-combat-y area, which is also a bit strange. Because usually MMOs kind of throw you into combat right away, and then introduce crafting like much much later. But this kind of does it the reverse. You start off with the crafting, and then you get into the combat. So I can't actually loot this little corpse because I don't have that skinning knife, which is I'm interested in seeing just how far. I don't have a proper term for it. So I'm gonna call it power creep in terms of what can be crafted. So like so I'm crafting. I mean I'm chopping down these wood logs, right, with just my hands. I think by this point. Um, so I'm gonna be getting an axe soon. Okay. And that makes it faster. Are there going to be new trees where I'm going to have to get like a new kind of axe, like an iron axe, mithril axe, rune axe, and all that? Or is it just you got the axe, you can chop down all trees at the same proficiency? Because I think that'll be really huge. Because it does say beginners skinning knife, so that that leads me to believe that there's going to be different kinds of axes, which I'm not. It's just it seems like an artificial leveling system. Like, oh, okay, great, I got a new axe to relatively chop this new wood, and that's not terribly interesting. So I think right there it says like stop thief, and that's a combat quest. So you can see the difference between these three NPCs. Rather, I think that was a farmer, right? A farmer, and then a knight, and a crafting dude, and they'll give you all different kinds. I have no idea what this is, by the way. Not yet, either way. It looks like it's like a crafting station, maybe. So there's all this stuff, and there's no explanation. There's no, there's no guides out there. There's no videos yet. I think there's none. I didn't look at it anyway. I just got started. I would be surprised if they had a guide up this soon. It's not terribly complicated, of course, and there's the premium store. You can extend the premium. I think I got the 30-day premium with the code. But I don't really. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference to me. And again, that does kind of scare me. I kind of drifted off, and I didn't really finish my point earlier. But that does worry me a little bit. I don't want someone to just be able to buy their way through, because then it makes me feel like my accomplishments aren't as accomplished. And what's interesting here is that it's actually, uh, what would you call it? It's you're on a grid point, and this is really cool. I like this. This actually reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones, where you like it's a multi-level tiered look, and all looks very nice. And again, don't be fooled. This my computer can only run it on low, unfortunately, but it should look a lot better on high graphics. But at a base level, this does look quite good. I think they could do some particle effects like fog, but again, it is closed beta. I think it should be coming. I think it just opened in closed beta just a few days ago. Uh, like actual like just at a base level closed beta, and then today is the closed beta that most people are probably going to be getting in the 25th of November, which is Wednesday. So I think once it goes into straight up open beta and it's free to play, you're going to be seeing a ton of people in this area. Oh yeah, that's another thing I almost forgot about. So I was just I'm getting all mixed up. So I came into this area just to kind of explore, but I don't think there's actually a whole lot I can do here. So I have to go back to my starting area, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been nice to have like a message like, "Hey, you should probably just go back until you finish your beginner level quest or objective." And it doesn't have to bar you or anything. Just like, hey, you might want to go back, or else you're gonna waste your time. Because while I do enjoy the exploring, I felt like I wasted a whole bunch of time doing nothing, which is just as bad. Because I can't even, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to do here besides that it's just like a resource node area. And that leads into the point that I do want to cover. It seems like this game is focusing heavily on crafting, which is nice. I like that. That's cool. It reminds me a lot of RuneScape, like I mentioned before. You can play and enjoy RuneScape for thousands of hours and not do any combat whatsoever. Sort of. uh, and this game, and what the RuneScape does is that when you mine the node or chop down the tree, it goes away for a while. And this game does the same thing. But I hated that in RuneScape. I understand that it mimicked, I suppose, a real world kind of what would you call it? It it created demand in an economy based on this limited resource that you actually had to physically and painstakingly collect. Like dragon ore, not dragon ore, but rune ore. It would take like 30 minutes for a node for one rune ore to respawn, and because of that, it would be worth a lot of money, right? Uh, and I'm afraid that they're gonna do something similar here. That they're gonna be like, all right, the super awesome stone that you need a super high level pickaxe. That you get one node in this very remote location, and then you have to wait an hour for it to respawn, and well, it's gonna be worth a lot because of that, and that would really suck. I totally lost my train of thought. So there we go. I made my beginner skinner knife, skinning knife, whatever. I'm also gonna make the rest of these weapons, like the hammer. I'm not sure what the hammer does. Probably has something to do with armor. Yeah. I had to check and make sure I got it. So as you can see there, I do have, it looks like it's limited storage space, and it is kind of cramping my screen up, but again, it's on a 4:3 lowest resolution. I put that on by accident, but whatever. And so I'm just going to go out and get more resources, man. That's what it's all about. So I think I got my axe here. So as you see, it's noticeably faster, and you also get a new animation. It's cool. I like that. And you actually see the axe on your character. It looks like that guy next to me actually has full leather armor too. So that's, I don't think I actually make the leather armor here. Oh, no, yeah, I do. It's at the very end. There we go. I killed that bunny. I'm going to collect these logs though first. And then go over to that dead little bunny, the poor bunny. Too bad. And skin it. So there's another weird thing. So I should see it here pretty soon. But there's some kind of weird, like, let's see if I actually encounter it. No. But sometimes it seems like you only get one hide out of 3 instead of all 3. And you'll see that sometimes with trees as well. Like maybe you chop it down right after it respawns, and it doesn't have enough time to grow to its maximum uh, limit of resources. I really want to see if I can see it. I definitely saw it a couple times in this section. But where is it? There it is, like right there. It started at 1, right? Which is weird. And then I think I go to the tree and I only get 1. So that's kind of strange. It's like it builds up over time. Is it directly related to your character? No, your character, or is it, based on your character, or is it based on the amount of time that the world node had to respawn? And also another thing, that wasn't very clear, but am I on a server? Like as in I can change servers, or I'm placed in a server that's closest to my location. And in RuneScape, there's you do like server jumps to get fresh resources, like I was talking about the rune node that take 30 minutes to respawn. And you would just hop to a different world and it'd be uh, not used. I don't know if there's a word for that. uh, so it could be. This game is so hard to judge because I like it a lot, but I feel like it's kind of playing on my nostalgia, and I think I head back here to finish up some of my crafting. And how you have to ask yourself, how far can you go on the nostalgia? I haven't seen anything especially amazing. Like, okay, so that I kind of fumbled through that thought, but basically the thing is this game actually good, or is it just like, oh, it's a nice little callback you got there? That's cool, you know? Like, oh yeah, this is like a nicer looking RuneScape or something. I don't know. I really need to see more of it, but I like what I see so far. I think it's well made. I think the UI could use a lot of improvement, but I think that's a fairly minor complaint. I think the microtransaction, it's like it has so much uh it has so much pull from so many different problems, potential problems. Like the microtransaction, bad. Uh, the the resource node deal, bad. UI, bad. Uh, not or no lack of any tutorial information, bad. On the other hand, that's a lot of bads, but on the other hand, it's a formula that works. Just like crafting, I love the crafting. I love the craft. I love to gather the resources and then craft stuff like my armor. But how far can they actually go with that? Like so far, it seems like the crafting is. It seemed initially kind of like there's a lot there, but actually there's not. You have the leather armor, and then you have the weapon. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna be doing at least one more video on this game. Uh, which it may be a review. It may just be like a, hey, this is where we're at kind of video, update video, like for closed beta. But I'm definitely keeping a close eye on this. I think you should keep a close eye on it too, even if you can't get into it. So anyway, that is it. I think at Logout 0, this video is over. So anyway, I've been King0 from Thanks for watching.